Okay, so the kids are sleeping right now, the two little ones. So I want to go and make a video about where I've been the past, I want to say year, because now I'm going to start putting out videos again. And I don't want people to be like, okay, well, she had cancer. I see the thing on her head. What's happening now? So, um, in October of 2021, I found out that I had breast cancer. It was in my left breast. Um, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, I think it was called. And they told me, it's going to be fine. It's going to be easy. We're just going to do a few rounds of chemo, take it out. You'll be fine. But I was having problems with my hip at the time, my left hip. I was pregnant. By the time I found out I had it, I want to say I was about 6 months pregnant, something like that. And I was having a lot of issues and a lot of pain. They kept telling me it was the pregnancy. So I had my baby February 2022. Still in a lot of pain. Even after I delivered my son, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep laying down for 6 months. I told the doctors that. I couldn't go to the bathroom anymore. I couldn't walk up the stairs. It was bad. And no one would listen to me. So even after I delivered him, they kept telling me, "Oh, things will go back to normal in a while." They kept saying that I was having sciatica. Now my mother has sciatica, so I kind of figured it wasn't sciatica because it didn't make any sense. Where the pain was, it was really in my hip. Um, like I was having muscle spasms, which when I looked it up myself, everything that everything that was said that I could possibly have, none of it was sciatica, but most of it was a broken hip. I was at the time seeing a chiropractor, and my chiropractor, because the prenatal doctor sent me to a chiropractor. Well, she suggested one, so I went to see her, and I was paying out of pocket, and I had mentioned an MRI that they had done on my hip, and she's like, would you be interested in sharing that MRI with me? I said, sure. I had the disc. I had it in the truck. So I gave her the disc. One of her orthopedic friends looked over this disc, and he told her to tell me her hip is broken and she needs to get that fixed immediately. Now, this is why I was pregnant. I told my doctor, my prenatal doctor, um, about what the person said about the hip and the MRI. She told me that I didn't need to see a specialist, an orthopedic specialist. My chiropractor said, tell her to give you that in writing, because what she was hoping it would do would push her to still send me, because normally people don't want to give you any writing that says, we feel as though you don't need that, because you could sue the crap out of them, right? It didn't do that. She did not want me to go anywhere else. She wouldn't sign the referral. The doctor who did the original MRI missed it. So I had a broken hip for a good 6 months, and it healed wrong. By the time that it healed wrong, I realized that my legs were two different lengths. Like my left leg was shorter than my right leg, which is indicative of you having something broken and it healed wrong. So I finally was able to start getting up and moving around. I want to say about June. So I called the doctor, because all of these people knew. The doctors that I was involved with, the oncologist, the prenatal, all those people. I couldn't even get up off my sofa. I was in so much pain. And instead of treating the pain, they kept, well, we want to see you in here for treatment and here for this. I can't even get out off my sofa. In order for me to have my baby by C-section, I had to have, when I went into labor, I had to have a ambulance come and pick me up because there was no way I could get in a car. I didn't even know how I was going to do any of this, right? So come June, I start feeling better, reach back out to the people who did the original MRI. Now, at the time, I didn't know that they missed it. I had no idea. I figured it was getting better because I wasn't in as much pain, right? But the leg thing was throwing me off. Why is one of my legs shorter than the that doesn't make any sense. So I told the lady on the phone, my nurse navigator, I'm feeling better, but I don't really understand because one of my legs is longer than the other. So I don't know what happened. Like, was it the pregnancy? Like, I was so confused because they're telling me I went to hospital after hospital out here. They told me I was fine. So I couldn't figure out. All of these medical professionals are telling me I'm fine. Why is my leg shorter than the other? So I go for the scans in June of 2022. Scans show I not only have broken my hip, but I have fractured probably 5 vertebrae in my back. And I now have it in my bones. I mean, it's probably been in my bones for a while. That wasn't their fault. But it's in my bones. It's in my brain, my spine, my liver, my lungs, my pelvis, which includes the hip area. My Did I say my legs? I think that's it. I hope that's it. Good Lord, that's enough. So, they tell me this after the scans. They're like, listen, you can't go home. We need to call an ambulance for you to go from here to the hospital. This needs to be fixed because your pelvis is at a risk of coming completely apart. And I was like, what is happening? Like, they just threw all this stuff at me. You're terminal. It's in your bones. It's everywhere. Well, they didn't know it was everywhere. I didn't know that till I got to Danville. A very, very miraculous surgeon fixed the hip and the leg. They shoved a rod down the femur, I believe it's called, and they put it pretty much a metal hip in there, right? So that got rid of the pain because I was in immense pain. But come days after that, that is when I figured out how far this thing was. Because at Danville, the doctor's concern is that if this thing has spread to these areas, we want to know where else it has spread to. So I was up there alone. So I had to learn that it was in my brain, my spine, pretty much everywhere. The first thing that I thought of was, oh my God, my children. Because I had just had a baby. He wasn't even 6 months old yet. He was, what? 4 months old, something like that. And I missed so much time with him because I've been hospitalized a few times now, until they started helping me. So October of this year, they finally started to do chemo, which is where this comes from. And I still cannot walk correctly. I still have crutches. I am able to walk without the crutches, but because of the fractures in my back, I can't stabilize myself properly. So I can't really stand all the way up, right? That's why the crutches help. It allows me to stand all the way up. And the hip is fine. I have no problems with the hip. So now I am going to be going to another specialist to see if they can fix my back in any type of way that would allow me to be able to stand up a little bit more when I walk. That way I don't look 80, right? So in between this time, our relationship has went sour, which happens a lot for people with cancer. I didn't know that until I was telling a nurse about, the breakup and things that had happened. And she said, believe it or not, it happens a lot. And then I started to look around me, and I started to look around at the people that were there. Husbands were there with their wives, but wives were not there with their husbands. So a lot of things have happened, right? A lot of things have happened. So the name of this channel is going to be changing. I want to bring awareness of this to women, because the thing that never made any sense to me is that if you have breasts at any age, you can get breast cancer, right? But they don't scan for those things until you're older. What? So what I can say is, I want to leave something for my children. I want to leave them with recipes, memories, my face, my voice. So we will be doing all of that. Grocery hauls, you name it, we're going to do it. But I want you to know that this means more to me than just YouTube. The things that I'm doing on here now, because my children will eventually be able to go back and see me and see moments. I am not going to edit this video. I'm just going to put it out, because no matter how many times I have tried to record this video, probably 10 times, and I cry every time. So if you want to be around for the memories, and I am all for that, because the things that I'm going to share here are, things about living with chemo and having to do that, and the doctor's trips and the kids, and how to do, how I plan things going in for chemo, or anything really, if it's a surgery, whatever the case may be, how we do things over here. This is something that I'm able to leave my children, and I really appreciate that this platform will allow me to do so. So if you're somebody who has been with the channel, because it's not very big, I really only started this when I got sick, I appreciate you for sticking around. I really do. If you're somebody new and you're just kind of coming to check me out, this is what it is. This is what we're dealing with, and I am just trying to get as better as I can. I know that this thing will never go away. There's no known cure for metastatic breast cancer, even in experimental trials. But I do know that I can live a lengthy life with the right care. And I do know that there's a bunch of women who are going through this. And breast cancer in general, this is a scary thing. The word cancer is insane, like to even hear someone say that you have that. And for years, I avoided anybody with cancer, because it's almost like you feel like it's going to rub off on you. Because if you think it, you'll get it. You know what I mean? Nothing works, really. It's really one of those things that you roll the dice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's nothing you can really say to make anybody feel better about that situation. But what I can tell you is that I am still here, and still with my kids, and I raised them by myself. I have 4 children. I have a daughter, Brielle, who is 10. I have a son, Malachi, who is 8. I have a 2-year-old. His name is Amir. And then I have soon to be 1-year-old, February 5th, for Nasir. So I live for them. And they are the reason I feel that I got a little bit better to be able to even walk around the house and clean it and care for them, because I could not do that at one point. So I'm going to take y'all on this little journey with me. And I hope you stick around, and I hope you, get to know who I am and what we do here. And if you are somebody who is suffering with any type of cancer, my heart really goes out to you. And I am always a person that will listen to those things that are hard to say, because I had one person, and still have one person, that I can say anything to and they will not be upset. I can talk about death, I can talk about dying, I can talk about insurance policies. They don't flinch an eye. They just listen, because that's all I really need. So if you are a person that's going through it, please, please, please reach out to people who will help, even if it's a counselor. Don't do this alone. This is not meant to be done alone. Cancer is not meant to be done alone. It really truly involves a village, for real, especially if you have children. So on that note, I'm going to end it here. And if you have any questions, put them in, comments. I'll be happy to answer anything anybody has to say. The chemo, this should be my last round on the 9th, I believe. But I also have a scan on the 8th, because they want to see, now that we've done, I think, 5 treatments, they want to see where the cancer is, what it's done, and I guess then we'll make a plan after that. So I have I think the 9th, I have chemo. So I guess we'll see where the scans are, talk to the doctor and all that, and then I will definitely fill everybody in about where we're at here. So if you support me and you rock with me, I love you and thank you. And if you're somebody that just wants to see, I guess through the eye of somebody that has cancer, rock with me, because I'm gonna show you. And cancer is not for the faint of heart. It's really not. And you don't know how strong you can be until you're in a position to where you have to be. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want any pity. I just want understanding. People to understand what breast cancer is, how far it can go, the people that don't survive, because that is a reality of the other side of this. So, if you like the stuff about the channel, I'm glad to have you here. And anybody who's thinking about sticking around, please stick around and see what's going to happen, because summertime is coming, and I plan on living life. And I will say this: if you're a person that is not happy with your life, if you're a person that's with somebody that you're not happy with, or if you're a person that, you're like, I could change this, and this, but I'll do it tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow will ever bring. Please do it today. If you're not happy with something, change it. If you don't like something, change it, especially if you're young. I'm 38 years old, so I'm not crazy old, but I'm not a spring chicken anymore either. So if you're young and you're watching this, please go live life, because you don't know when it's going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. You just don't. So if I could give you any advice, make you happy. Please. That's all you can do in life. Make you happy. If you don't like a situation or certain things, change them. Make yourself happy. But like I said, we're going to stop it here, because I have all kinds of stuff that's coming. So, till the next one.